Hey guys, I'm now going to be doing a review and comparison of two earphones. These are both very unique earphones due to the technology that they both involve. But a few years back when these were released, they were a completely new technology. They're all single drivers, but they're what's called a moving armature driver, which is slightly different to a balanced armature driver. I don't know how, I can't give you the technology, but I just know there's four made. So there's the EQ-5 here, the Grado GR8 here, and then the Ortofon's big brother, which is the EQ-7, and the GR8's big brother, which is the GR10. So that's a little bit of a background. So I'm now going to make a comparison on the two. These can be bought for £195 in the UK, and these are now originally £300, and you can now pick them up for around £230 if you look around. So that's the sort of price range. So just start off, I haven't got the packaging, I loaned this of Totally Dub, great guy, so thanks to him, and then this is obviously mine. Check out my unboxing of that, or Dub's unboxing of that, that's what the packaging is like. Accessories, it's an instant win to the Ortofons. With these you get the three types of silicone clear tips, which are really like soft and flimsy. They're actually almost identical to the tips that you get on the Grados, which I've never seen. These sort of tips, like the amount of thinness and the flimsiness to them, which is kind of cool. So you get them, you get three pairs of both earphones of small, medium, large. But these also come with the Comply foam tips, which I'm not a big fan of because they darken up the sound. You know, they recess the highs, but you get a pair of these, and they're comfier, and I think that's a instant plus for these earphones. So that's a great little feature to see applied to these. And this is what I mean by the softness and the flimsiness of these tips, which is it's weird, but I mean they sound good. I actually prefer using the Sony hybrid these than the Sony hybrids on the Ortofons, which is rare. With both pairs you also get these, which are they're the filter rings, so you can replace them on the earphones, which will be, you get these with both earphones, so I can just show you these. It's like, so you can see there inside it you have like a filter ring which goes around the edge, so they're replaceable if they get damaged or broken, so they're the filter rings you get, and then that's the actual filter material that you can see in there, so you can replace that if it gets clogged with earwax. So that comes with both pairs, which is kind of cool, but there's a little plus to these as they have the removable tool, so they've got a slight plus in both these sections. But the Grados, unfortunately, for £300 or £230 now, don't come with a case, and that's something the Ortofons do. It's not the most normal, or even, it's portable. I've taken this around in my pocket before, and it is really protective. It's a metal, and inside it's got like a foam layer of protection. See, I've got my earphones in there, just remove them, and it is a real nice case. I like it, just because it's a bit different, and it's kind of cool to look at. So it's a win for accessories to the Ortofons. Next up we have what's the comfort like on either of these, and I have to say these are the most comfortable. They are worn cable down. Sometimes strain reliefs can be a bit irritating because they touch like your bottom of your ears or your neck, but you can see these sort of bend away so they don't really interfere with anything. They have a fairly deep insertion, but they don't feel ever like they're too far in or intruding on your ears, and they're really light because they're all made out of plastic. These can be worn cable down or over your ears, and I will say that they're rather comfortable, but they are made of metal, which adds a bit of weight to them, and they are quite large because they're barreled earphones. So people who find the 55510 uncomfortable might find these a bit uncomfortable, and they might even be a bit too big for your ears, but they're fine for me, and they do have a slightly shallower insertion depth than the Grados. Build quality, you start with a nice jack, straight, it's quite a soft housing to it, but it's gold plated plug and everything. This is the most flexible strain relief I've come across, which is great, and the cable feels strong, it's thick, and it has this wonderful ability to coil up. If you have a look at it, so it doesn't, instead of tangling down the bottom, it just sort of coils up just automatically, which I think is great. The Y split, it's just low profile, not really existent, and then has a nice cable kinch. The housings, they do have a real nice strain relief, as you can see here. But what I have found is how not very plush the front of the housing, the silver bit and the blue bit are. Like, there's little bits of dirt start to get in there, and they're just all things that don't impress me, so I was a bit disappointed about that. But the nozzle's fine. Overall though, it's not a bad build to them. Yeah, the nozzle's fine because it's quite short, so it's not going to snap at all really. The Ortofons have a slightly better build. This is mainly because just how solid all the parts are. Look at the housing is extremely solid. Not as flexible as strain relief, but longer and strong. Just look how much thicker the cable is down the bottom here. Look, it's probably the thickest IEM cable I've come across. It's really strong, so that's great. The wire split could be seen as a bit big, but it's bulky and it really does its job well. The cable does get a lot thinner at the top, and it now moves thinner than the actual Grados here, and it does feel a bit weak, but nothing overly worrying about that. And the housings are great. They're metal, super strong, really plush finish. Like, this is what I'd like to see, the plushness here on the Grados, which would be great. They don't have a strain relief like normal earphones, you go straight in there, but again, nothing to worry about. As I'm taking this off, you can see the filter inside and the filter ring, and again a nice short metal nozzle. So these are really great build. They're both not bad build quality wise, but I'm definitely going to have to give that to the build quality wise to the Ortofons actually. As you'll see, this is becoming quite a trend, the Ortofons win. Microphonics on both earphones are great. These can be worn so you can loop them over your ear, or you can just wear them straight down. They look a bit stupid when they're worn straight down because they sort of stick out a hell of a lot and the wire comes straight out, so I do recommend wearing them over the ear for both that, the reason you don't look stupid, and the reason that microphonics go from a tiny thud when you hit the cable to almost completely non-existent. And these are some of the best microphonics I've had on an earphone, so really great there. I have worn these over the ear, but I do prefer wearing them cable down just because the way they're made, and I get a comfier fit when they're worn cable down. These do have microphonics. There is a little bit of a tap, but it's not bad at all, and again, nothing that's going to put you off buying these or to worry you, but the Ortofons do clinch the victory for microphonics. I've covered most bases now, but I normally don't say about this in reviews, but how easy they are to drive. And I say this because they're both 180 decibel sensitivity earphones, which is really quite sensitive, but whereas the Ortofons only have 40 ohms impedance, these have 120 ohms, which instantly means that you might probably want an amp for when you're driving them. But it's more than that. If you drive this in your iPod or your iPhone or whatever you use, I doubt you're going to get enough volume. Or it's not even the volume, it's just the oomph and the sound quality. You can just feel that they're not being driven efficiently and they're just lacking generally when you're doing this. And I found that that's a real shame, and I found that's definitely a problem with the Grados. So I took them with my portable amp setup, and again, I didn't feel like they were being driven efficiently enough. I mean, they were getting loud, but they weren't enjoying anything I was throwing with them, and I think that's just because they don't synergise or connect with a lot of amps. So I went to use my desktop setup, and I thought that's powerful. I have an audio engine DAC, followed by my Epiphany Acoustics Objective 2 amplifier. So it's a hefty setup. It's really nice sounding. I mean, it synergises great with my HD 580s, and I love the setup. But unfortunately, my Objective 2 ran out of charge, so it was better with the Objective 2, but it weren't still what I was hoping to get sound quality wise out of them. So I just put it into the Audio Engine D1 DAC, and it sounded great. Well, the best I could get out of these through synergising with the Audio Engine. So I'll just put that. These will need a good portable amp, or just something to synergise well with, but you will have to invest in an amp if you're going to get these. These 40 ohms, drive them out your iPhone, drive them anywhere, they synergise with everything, they're great. Well, they don't synergise with everything, but they connect well with anything. They synergise specifically with a few other things, but yeah, these are going to go with anything absolutely fine, so no worries with the Ortofons. Let's just crack on in sound quality. Sound quality wise, when it comes to soundstage, the Ortofons are extremely good. I really like the Ortofons because they have a real, it's a wide soundstage, tall soundstage, and it's got the depth to it. Really expands outside your head. Separation's great, really airy. Everything's, I mean, it's one of the best sound stages I've heard. It puts you, say you as a concert, you've been in the first row, just where you want to be, just where all the action's happening, and that's good. And the presentation imaging is not bad at all. TDK BA200s were better in this, like this area, and so were the Grados. The Grados, however, have good instrument separation again, not quite as airy, but still good. But the sound stages are inside your head. It's tiny. It's just feels a bit compressed. And although the presentation's great, I would just like it to just expand outside my head. It's got the depth to it, but it's not got the height and the width, so that was disappointing. The bass again goes to the Ortofons. Yeah, this is becoming a trend now. And the Ortofons have a real nice bass. It's not the tightest bass, but it's just the right tightness, I think, because it just has the good impact you need, the good body, but it is still tight. Quantity wise, I think again they got it right there. They're not going to be bass heavy, but they should suit enough for everyone else, and it is slightly behind the mids and the trebles. The extensions is good. It's not going to give you a rumble, but you know it extends all the way down. You can hear it, and it's great. These get low. Real nice bass we have here. I'm super impressed by it. We don't even have any bass for the Grados, to put it bluntly. They roll off super quickly. The quantity is ridiculous. The smallest quantity I've heard in any earphone. I mean, what you do have, it's really tight, and it's really, but it doesn't have an impact. It's good quality, but I mean, it doesn't impact. There's just not enough of it, so I was rather disappointed. Mid-wise, they both have a real nice dry sense to it. It's not warm, it's not anything, but the Ortofons are slightly more forwarded, and they have a great energy to them. They're both really transparent. Grado's slightly more details, but they both sound great. There's the timber's really especially good on these, the Ortofons, and the Grado's timbers, like, it's softer, and it sounds good though for everything strings especially, but it doesn't sound right on the drums because it's just so soft. So these are quite more in your face, and these are real soft to the touch, light, feathery almost. So that's the difference there. So I prefer the Ortofons mids personally. And trebles, both are really good, super smooth, super extended, slightly more extension on the Grados, but super extension on both. Slightly more details again on the Grados, but super details on both, really transparent highs. These are softer again, and these are more energetic, lively, which I found really nice. These are smooth the whole way through, no unnecessary peaks. These do have, I don't know, I found a slight peak, but sometimes, I mean, the rarest of occasions, it does become a bit harsh. And on the real rarest of occasions, there is a little hint of sibilance, but nothing to worry about. So that's the sound quality of both of them. The Grados only really clinched by a tad, the trebles, but these are great earphones. The second best I've heard to this day, other than the Sony MDR EX-1000s, which I will review shortly. I mean, I've heard now 35 at least in-ear monitors, and these are the second best I've heard. For 200 quid, you cannot go wrong. It's not the biggest of packaging, but you get your case, you get the tips, the silicone and the comply. It's a nice little box, nice little packaging, and you get the filter removals, which is great. As a package, I think you can't go wrong with the Ortofons, but I mean, they're great earphones, but I can't recommend the Grados just due to the fact that that if you don't have an amp already, you're going to need an amp just to drive them to any extent. So that's the Grados. You're going to need a good amp, but you're going to have to hope it synergises with them, or you're going to have to go and try some of them just to get a good sound. And it's just not a good enough sound for £300. These are worth, I don't know, if you can start getting these for 100 quid, they might be a good, well, not even a bargain, just rightly priced. But for £300, that's an awful price, I think. Or even 230 that they are. They have the real drop in price to be worth the money. I hope you've enjoyed my second review. There'll be more coming, and if you can subscribe, that'd be great. The more subscribers, the better. Just for personal